My dad wants to manage my inheritance? Plus update. Original post. I am 18 female senior in high school. When I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with epilepsy, at which point my dad had an affair with a family friend. When confronted, my dad abandoned my mom and me, according to my grandma. We moved in with my grandparents. My mom went to college and became a teacher. I loved my family. My grandparents were always there for me. Eventually, I was able to find medicine to stop my seizures. My mom worked hard and never went without anything. My medicine cost hundreds of dollars each month, and I know it was really hard for my mom alone to cover these expenses. Several times I tried to reach out to my dad. If he answered the phone, he would simply say I can't speak right now and hang up or not answer. Fast forward to now. Both my grandparents have passed away and my mom died in a car accident 3 months ago. I went through my mom's finances and my dad never paid for child support. Never even helped with any of my medical bills. Then out of the blue, my dad messaged me via Facebook and asked me to meet him for lunch. At lunch, he told me that he heard about my mom's death. He felt like since I was still in high school, he should help me manage the money and house left to me. He said it would also help rebuild our father-daughter relationship. He then asked me to add him to my bank account. I told him I needed time to think things through, and I would call him later. Part of me feels like he is just using me now for the money, but the other half feels like if I don't allow his help, he will never speak to me again. What do I do? Now for the top advice before the little update. Don't do it. Talk to an attorney, please. Don't end up like Britney Spears. This is the 1 OP. Talk to an estate attorney. You could consider explaining your dad's situation to your attorney and get some feedback. Since your mom passed so recently and you're still grieving, you may want to consider asking your attorney about setting up a trust for yourself. If not a trust, some kind of account that accrues a good amount of interest and doesn't allow you to blow through your money faster than you'd like. I'm very sorry about your mom. Good luck, OP. Also, OP, not allowing him to help you would lead him to not speaking to you ever again. That means you already know that he's not actually back in your life to help. You also know that as soon as he gets what he wants from helping you, he'll be gone. It's better to have all your money and no dad than to let that dad take it all and you still won't have a dad. He clearly wants to rob you blind and leave you. I would not trust your dad to do so. Hopefully there is another family member or you can get yourself an attorney to assist you. OP, your dad sounds dangerously selfish and is only thinking of himself. Please go no contact with him, especially since you are in a vulnerable place right now. He hasn't been there for you your whole life. He is a shark. Please avoid him. Considering he's only contacting her now, it's 100% him thinking of himself. If he was genuine, he'd have contacted her before her mother's death. Contact after? He's hoping to take her money to fund his life. Absolutely do not let your dad near your inheritance. Actually, he owes you the child support he never paid. You can't sue him for all the back child support. He never helped your mom nor you in any way, so please do not trust him. He will rob you and you will end up with nothing. You need this money, so if you have anyone that you absolutely trust, go to them and talk to them about this. Add him to bank accounts? Hell no. Ask him where was child support for the past 18 years. Honestly, it's probably best just to keep him out of your life. You didn't need him before, and you don't need him now. And now for the little update. I talked to my dad tonight. I told him that I want him to be more involved by coming to my concerts and graduation the second semester. I also told him that I have a financial advisor and lawyer to help me with the inheritance. He flipped out. He screamed at me that I'm just like my mother and stormed out. My friend's parents asked me to stay a few days with them when they saw me crying. I politely declined and came home. I just don't feel like being around people. So my question now is, what do I say or do if my dad reaches out again? Tell him to buzz off, as he was just there to use you for the money. If he cared about you, he would have paid child support and helped with the medical bills. Also, he would have made time for you when you called. That is not a dad. He is just a sperm donor. Garbage has thrown it out on its own. Don't bring it back inside. He has already shown you who he is. Listen. That proves that it really was all about the money and not about a relationship with you. I know it really sucks to realize that. If this was me, I would make sure to block him everywhere so he can't contact me again. And if he somehow gets through, I would ignore, not respond, tell him to screw off, and hang up. I'm so sorry this happened to you, but know that your life is better without someone like that in it. You're going to be okay. Now for the last story. Update. Girlfriend thinks she's 80% the reason for my success and got mad when I told her she's not. Original post. I have been dating my girlfriend for about 3.5 years now. I am 29 and she is 28. Overall, our relationship is great and we have a good dynamic. Today we hosted some family members because I got a huge promotion. While her mom was congratulating me, she said something along this line that she is 80% the reason for what I have achieved in life. To this, I just said, yeah, you wish. After this, she has been pretty mad at me that I don't appreciate her, which is not true. I do appreciate her and acknowledge her help, but 80% seems a bit too much to me. To be fair to me, it is me who has a double master's and an ACCA qualification. It is also me who has worked 85 hours a week for the last 4 to 5 years. To her, I'm trying to take away her sacrifices and just being an ungrateful douche. It's not like she stayed back and hurt her career for mine. She did also work towards hers but only got a bachelor's and has worked 35 to 40 hours a week for the duration of our relationship. I see this as a little red flag. Not enough to end the relationship, but I would like to get the credit where I deserve it. She says we can talk when I'm ready to acknowledge what she has done to me fairly, which to her is again 80%. How the heck should I deal with this? My mom thinks that I should just agree with her if that makes her happy, but I don't think that's fair to me. Any advice/opinion in my relationship? Edit. Looks like I need to add some info because this is being asked again and again. We don't live together. We had planned to move in together, but due to COVID, we couldn't. We did help each other financially, like loaning each other money, but it was for like 3 months at a time. I don't know why some people here think I'm trying to flex working 85 hours a week, but I'm not. It was info that I thought was essential to give context in the post. 85 hours is no flex, but I had to do it to turn my life around. Me saying above that she only has a bachelor is just in comparison for the sake of this post and to give context. I've not and ever crapped on her achievement and considered them inferior to mine, nor have I ever claimed 80% of what she has achieved. To be honest, if she wouldn't have quantified it, I would have no problem with it. Like, I myself say this that I couldn't have done it without her. But 80%? Now, come on. People also seem interested in why and how I work so much. Well, I have a job like every one of us does, which is 40 hours 6 days a week. And I was also trying to get my business started with my brother, in which I worked 40 to 45 hours 7 days a week. If you average this out, this is equal to 12.5 hours 7 days a week. All that being said, I couldn't leave one or the other. I needed my job to pay bills and have money, while I also wanted to get the business established so I could chill a little. Right now, I think I just have to keep this up for a couple more years to get everything where I want it. Edit 2. I did mention this in another comment. The things she has done for my POV and that I know she did are being emotionally there. She loaned me a significant amount of money once on short notice, which I paid back to her in 3 months. I have done the same for her. She also takes care of my dog once or twice every 2 months when I'm out of the city, and I'm grateful and thankful to her for these. My house chores, cooking, cleaning, and laundry situation is different than most. My neighbor has a catering business and I have worked out a plan with them for 3 meals a day. I also have a maid that comes 2 times a week so my place is in living condition and not a pile of trash. I do my own laundry like I should. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Y'all are absolutely crazy. First of all, they don't even live together, so it's reasonable to assume he's taking care of wherever he lives mainly by himself. Second, she hasn't provided any financial support to him while he's been doing this, and all you people can concentrate on is how he's diminishing her achievements? She has literally, in front of her family, attempted to take 80% of the credit for his ridiculous amount of studying and work. And you people want to talk about diminishing achievements? This sub is wild sometimes. SMH. Look man, I'm in the same boat as your partner. My girlfriend has almost finished the final part of her 4-year nursing degree, while working pretty much full-time throughout it. She goes to work, comes home, goes straight into the study for hours. Therefore, I cook our dinner, clean and tidy the house, make the bulk of the money and try to make her life easier any way I can. But I would never, ever attempt to tell anyone that I deserve any credit, let alone 80%. And I think I'm probably doing more for her than your girl is doing for you. That crap is wild. And the fact that she's pushing the issue is just another red flag. Do not do what your mom says and just agree with her to pacify her, as this could set the groundwork for a very unhealthy relationship. Sit her down, speak to her, maybe ask why she thinks she deserves 80% of the credit for the work you've done, and go from there. Anyone that thinks they are 80% responsible for someone else's success and says it out loud like that is an a-hole. Dude, I 100% break up a long-term relationship if my girlfriend said this stuff and did back down. It's just a wild argument that would have me question motivation, basic logic, intelligence, and the goal of the relationship. It's just freaking weird. I can't even come up with a comparison, and I've lived both sides. I got to master's while with my now ex-wife, and she was home with kids. And she got her PhD after that, and I took over the majority of child rearing and household duties. Neither of us would ever think that, let alone say that. Maybe like 5 to 10% of background noise reduction, 25% to make a point to family and friends or to get a laugh. 80% is right out. Absolutely. I would definitely be questioning the relationship. It's one thing for her to say it at all, but to not back down when questioned on it and to not be willing to discuss it until he agrees is freaking manipulative and childish at the very least. Very weird hill to die on for her. Like, how can you think your partner is only 20% responsible for the degree that he is studying? Like, I say that crap to my partner to rile her up, and she tells me to buzz off and laughs at me because it's a joke, and we both know that is not true. I'd never believe it, and I certainly wouldn't jump up in front of her family and say it. Like, what? It's so weird that she specified a percentage. Yeah, Opie keeps going over the number like that is the real issue here. 80? 80? I might accept 17.67 or if pressed 20.2 at most, but not 80. But it sort of is the real issue. If she said, yeah, well, 10% of that success is because of me, this is probably a non-issue. Both because it may be true, emotional support counts for something, and even if not, it's not a big number. So it's being a pretty big percentage is literally the issue. Do you live together? Not right now. COVID really hurt our plans. Hopefully in a few months if things go back to normal. Dude, to end this argument once and for all, ask her to write down a list of everything that she has done that is the reason for your success. My guess is that she won't be able to. And if she does manage some sort of list, you should come back, in writing, why she's wrong. She's childish though in my opinion, and I wouldn't give her the time of day if this is what upsets her. And now for the update. Girlfriend and I talked about what happened and how we both could have refrained from saying what we said. After talking it out, the best option seemed to be just to take a break and be friends. Most people in my last post wanted me to sit her down and make her write her contributions, which honestly, no offense, sounded like a terrible idea. It was too confrontational, and I knew she couldn't have written anything meaningful anyway. Like, what was she supposed to write? That she got me Egg McMuffin the other day? I simply asked her what was going on and why she got so upset when I was dismissive, rightfully in my opinion, of her outrageous claims. She admitted 80% came out wrong, but she only doubled down on it because I handled the situation horribly. I do appreciate her being there, but her literal contribution to my life is close to none. Other than the $3,000 she lent to me once, which I paid her back 3 weeks later, I can't think of anything else. As for the emotional support, I 100% agree that was there and made things a little easier now and then. I still have a few more years to go before I have my business all sorted out so I can leave my job, but until then I'm sticking to my schedule. This break kinda also makes sense with the promotion. I got transferred to the head office. It will definitely increase the distance between us. Managing the business will be a little difficult, but my brother has agreed to manage all local activities fully, so that eases my burden a lot. My brother owned part of the business. This is not the way I imagined things to turn out, but here we are. She brought up to remain exclusive, even though we are on a break, which made little sense to me. As of now, there are no boundaries and we are just friends. We have worked out most of the stuff, and we'll iron out the remaining problems as friends and probably will date again if either of us didn't find anyone else. I also wanted to say to all the people that jumped on her, she isn't a bad person. We all say stupid stuff and do ridiculous things. It was just not her day. Glad things worked out for you, Opie. I'm just puzzled by the decision to take a break. She brought up to remain exclusive, even though we are on a break, which made little sense to me. To me too. If you're no longer together and there's zero exclusivity, then why call it a break to begin with? I guess it's just not computing with me. I'm genuinely confused. Before I met my wife in 2005, I had multiple girls I dated who wanted us to not be together, needed a possible future us to not be on the table, wanted me to move on, but then got mad at me when I started seeing other girls. Like, they wanted me to wait for them, but pretend I wasn't. It had to put my feelings completely on hold while I did. Indefinitely. Nah, girl, that ain't how this works. Taking a break seemed like the best option, to be honest, mostly because we still do have feelings for each other. It's just that we haven't been able to do stuff together and not put time into the relationship itself. I made it clear that we can't be exclusive since we aren't together. I think she was thinking more like getting space from each other without breaking up, while I considered it a breakup. Is she on the same page as you now? That you are broken up and not exclusive? In my opinion, if you are planning on getting back together with her, you should save the headache and remain exclusive for now. If you have no intentions of getting back together, then I see where you're coming from. Yes, we are on the same page. We are not exclusive, but I have no plans of sleeping with someone else, and I think she feels the same way. We are just not creating that boundary to avoid resentment if this break lasts a while, you know? Just break up. This break with no boundaries is actually a breakup, but you're keeping her as a backup plan. That's an awful thing to do. Stop leading her on and break up with her properly. You need to explicitly state you are broken up. Right now, it seems like you're keeping her as a backup and hoping for something better. You're leading her on, even if you say otherwise. Being on a break implies that the break will have an end and you two will get together. You say you're on the same page, but unless you explicitly say this is a breakup, I don't plan on getting back together with you, she will keep waiting. I doubt that. I'd say she's about 80% over him by now. Am I the a-hole for laughing at my sister? This happened back in December, but I'm still getting crap for it, so now I'm asking here. My 23 male sister, 24 female, has been dating this guy, 24, for about 10 months, and she shouldn't be. She's constantly testing him to see if he'll cheat or lie, and no matter how many times he passes her test and says that he, rightfully, doesn't like the tests, she'll still say she can't trust him but also won't break up with him. Our family have told her to stop the tests, and so have some of her friends. But her logic is that if he loves her, then he'll know that she needs to be able to trust him. He went out with some friends and mentioned it so she'd know he wouldn't respond for a while. And my sister, who knew some people who were going to the same bar that night, not many options, told a girl she's kind of friends with that he was single and interested in hooking up to test him. Again. Boyfriend apparently gets hit on, realizing it's a test again. Leaves the bar, calls her, and asks if it's a test. And when my sister tells him that it is, he dumps her and says he's either going to hook up with a woman who flirted with him if she's still up for it, or find someone else to hook up with since he can't handle my sister's crazy anymore. My sister is very upset and he hangs up on her. So she goes to our family in the main room, mom, dad, me, to tell us what happens, and says that he cheated and now the relationship is over. We're all obviously upset for her, and then we get the actual story out of her, not just laughed in her face because she lied. She caused a breakup, and it was what everyone warned her would happen if she kept testing him. I was called every name under the sun by my sister, and our parents said that even though she was in the wrong, that I should have been sensitive to how she was feeling and kept my thoughts private. And because I didn't, I'm an a-hole. Am I? Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Play a stupid game, win a stupid prize. And quite frankly, testing your partner's loyalty is pretty stupid in my opinion. You either trust them or don't. Yep, I honestly don't know what she was expecting doing that. How in the world she thought he'd just be okay with that over and over again. Some people can just be unbelievably dense. Oh yeah, no surprise there. The sheer volume of stupid is thick here. And yeah, it probably stems from an overwhelming lack of self-esteem. But geez, when everyone, from boyfriend to your mom, says stop doing this is gonna dump you and you continue, it's your own damn fault. I honestly don't know what she was expecting doing that. To break his spirit slowly over time and get away with more and more in the future until he is a shell of a man. And she can do what she wants whilst he pays for everything because he genuinely believes he will never do better than her. Psychological mistreatment is a very real form of domestic abuse. Not a-hole. Your sister is an idiot who lacks the maturity necessary to be in a relationship. Would it have been kinder to keep your thoughts to yourself? Maybe. But holy hell, this chick had it coming. But even though it would have been kinder, she wouldn't have learned her lesson. She would continue the testing game with the next Joe that comes knocking. Sometimes you gotta be harsh for people to face reality. Like you said, she had it coming. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for getting married before my sister after she announced her wedding first? I really feel bad and don't know if I'm the a-hole and how I can make everybody happy. So, my 25 female sister, 27 female, and I were as children always very competitive in sports/grades. But as I got older, I didn't want that anymore. So I changed to a different sport and studied something completely different than her. She then started to get competitive with our personal life, and she was always very passive-aggressive about me having a boyfriend first. Later, I moved together with my boyfriend and she made mean comments about it all the time. After a while, she found her perfect match and things got easier. I knew that she wanted to get married first and be the first one to have children. And it didn't bother me at all because I'm in no hurry. Last Christmas, she announced that she was getting married in 2023, and I was really happy for her. Then at the beginning of this month, my boyfriend, 26, and I got a call from his younger brother, 24. He was informed from his doctor that he has a very aggressive disease. We couldn't believe it, and went to his home to be there for him. My boyfriend was his best man for his brother's wedding. Their dad died when they were little, and they were very close. It meant a lot to him. Last week, my boyfriend asked me if I would marry him. He said that he could understand if it's not that romantic, but he said he wanted to marry while his brother is here, and to have him as his best man. I never cared about an expensive wedding with a lot of people. I always wanted to have a nice day with the most important persons in our life, so I could totally get that. I agreed because I love him, and I also know how happy it would make his little brother. But I immediately knew that this would cause stress with my sister. I called her. She knows that my boyfriend's brother is very sick, and told her about the proposal and that it will be only a small wedding this year, with her, my parents/grandparents, and some friends, so she could still have this big wedding first. She got mad and called me jealous, and that I'm using a dying person to get married first. I know that she was overreacting, but I also feel bad because she announced it first, and it means so much to her and I don't want to ruin her moment. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You're doing something very sweet for your soon-to-be husband. Your sister needs to grow up and realize that not everything in life is a competition. Thank you, but I don't really know how to stop this competition game. I don't know what to say or do. You don't. You just live your life. Your sister needs to grow up. If she makes passive-aggressive comments, just ignore them and change the subject. Yep, this is the one. OP, if you just do what makes you happy and don't worry about her, you'll be happier than her in the long run. Weddings aren't about competition. They're about people who are in love joining together and inviting the people they love to be there. Your future husband deserves a chance to have his brother there for that. Someday your sister may grow up and understand that life isn't about her winning all the time, but if she doesn't, that's not your problem. She announced it first, but the engagement is longer than a full calendar year. Not even taking the young man's mortality into account, it's an a-hole move to just expect that his sister should put her life on hold because someone called dibs on getting married first. If it's any consolation, she'll probably beat you to divorce court. She can beat the OP for the number of weddings and husbands too. But first, she needs to be the first who gets a divorce. Not stay home. Shut your sister down hard if she ever dares to say something like that to you again. What an awful thing to think, let alone say. She should be ashamed of herself. Your sister owes you a big apology. Right? Let's be real. She probably accused OP of using a dying person as an excuse to do something first, because it's something she would do if she had a chance. So she thinks OP's doing what she would have done. Which doesn't exactly make her that great of a person. Next story. Am I the a-hole for bursting out laughing when my sister-in-law asked to live with us? For the sake of not writing a huge post, I'll just say my sister-in-law have a very tense relationship. She's a very hateful, mean person, constantly takes digs at my weight, tells anyone who will listen that I'm lazy and fat, a bad parent and not good enough for her brother. I let it roll off my shoulders for the most part because, frankly, her opinion of me is pretty much irrelevant. And I have my own opinions on her, but keep it to myself. Not saying anything if I don't have anything nice to say and all that. This weekend, when we were over at his parents' house where she also lives, she sat us down and said she wanted to change from living with her parents, where rent is free and endless childcare is provided by my mother-in-law, and started thinking it might be a good idea to move in with us. I couldn't help it. I immediately started laughing. The entitlement and audacity honestly took me off guard, given the fact that my mutual distaste for her is not a secret, even if I stay cordial to keep the peace. Everyone looked at me in shock, and since the damage was already done, I said, "That's not happening, and you know that." Since she's the person she is, she immediately started her verbal attack, pointing out all of my flaws and classy things like that. Why not behave that way in front of the kids? I gathered up my kids without another word and waited in the car for my husband. I could tell he was kind of mad, and he later told me I should have just let him handle it because he would have obviously said no as well. I would be lying if I said I had regrets. The only thing I wish hadn't happened is exposing the kids to that behavior. I don't know though. Maybe that was an a-hole response, so I'm here to ask. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. God, it was so satisfying to read about somebody reacting like that to a bully. It wasn't the most diplomatic response, but I think it was a long time coming. So satisfying. Opie, I want to kiss you on your fat, lazy guts. Your spineless husband, who repeatedly allows his aggressive sister to insult you, that too in front of your children, is angry because you laughed? So basically, his approach is that his sister is constant demeaning. Insult, personal attacks are okay, but for his wife to laugh in self-defense is infuriating? You might need to stop being nice and take a much sterner stance on disrespect with your husband. Agreed. Sister-in-law shouldn't have so many opportunities to be insulting if husband were doing his part properly. This, not stay home. Might be time to discuss respect with your husband. Good for you, standing up for yourself. Never feel like you are the a-hole for demanding the same respect you give others. I don't know about where you live, but where I live, mistreating someone, especially a parent, in front of children is considered a form of child abuse. Your husband should be standing by you in this. Your reaction wasn't that bad. You didn't react physically when mistreated in front of your children, and I know plenty of people that would have. Good luck in helping your husband realize where his loyalties should lie. Not stay home. Obviously, sister-in-law is, but your husband freaking sucks too. Why is he bringing his wife and kids around this person? If my sister spoke to my spouse like that, even once, she'd be right out of my life. You're not the only one who exposed your kids to that behavior. He did. And frankly, given that he is spineless enough to allow the situation to continue, I wouldn't have trusted him to shut the situation. Not only should you have felt free to speak up, you need to be questioning him about why he's bringing you around his toxic family and allowing this behavior to continue. If there are other posts or anything to go by, the husband is just like his sister in regards to his wife. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole because I charged my son for tickets I got for free? First, the setup. I'm a single mom to 3 boys, 18, 13, and 12. My oldest graduated last year and is currently living at home for free, while he goes to school and works so he can save. Next, the problem. Sometimes for work, I get perks for doing well or just because. The other day, I won tickets to an event that I was on the fence about going to. So I was planning on selling to a coworker who said he'd buy them if I decided not to go. I was leaning towards that option because the extra money would be nice to have a little more to play with in the family fun account. Anyway, before I could sell the tickets, my oldest son saw them and asked me for them so he and his girlfriend could go. I told him a guy from work offered to buy them, but if he wanted them, he could buy them for me instead. My son told me he didn't have the money in his budget for them, but he really wants to go, and if I could just give them to him. I said no, that this is a part of being adult, sometimes you just can't afford things. He pleaded some more and I felt bad, so I said he could buy the tickets by watching his brothers while I went on an overnight with my sister. I don't like leaving the youngest two by themselves overnight, but I'll even throw a $50 gift card so they could get something to eat before. He agreed right away, and I gave him the tickets. I thought it would be a win-win-win. My son goes to the event and they have a great time. When the weekend of my overnight comes, I get snacks and leave pizza money with a note to everyone, one with all the info we discussed along with the name of the hotel. Then I leave before the boys get home from school. I'm at the hotel having a good time when I get a call from my 13-year-old telling me they don't have enough money to order the pizza they want because their older brother took his share of the pizza money to go have dinner with his girlfriend. I give the two my credit card number, hang up and call their brother who doesn't answer. After repeated and answered calls, I get nervous. It made my sister check out and take a cab to my house because we had both been drinking. We end up watching movies and having pizza with the boys all while trying to get a hold of my son. At 1 a.m., he and his girlfriend come home but it's already late, so they go to his room to sleep. Next morning, I'm pissed, so I go to talk to him with a bill to pay me back for the tickets, the gift card, the hotel, the pizza money, and the cab. I also added an inconvenience fee. He said that wasn't fair because I got the tickets and the gift card for free, and I didn't have to come home because he did come home to watch the boys, so they wouldn't have been alone. I told him that wasn't the agreement, and the bill still stands. Am I the a-hole because I did charge him for something I did technically get for free? Not the a-hole. You guys made an agreement on payment and he failed to do it. You said a gift card was for pizza for them to eat, not so he could take his girlfriend out. And you're right, this is part of being an adult. If he couldn't afford it and he didn't want to watch his brothers, then he shouldn't have taken the tickets. You're already doing more than enough letting him live there for free. No, the gift card was for him to use. I left pizza money and he took a portion of that to use for himself. That's so selfish. Wow. Further to this, something I don't see a lot of people pointing out is that OP effectively earned those tickets as a perk for their hard/good work, which then the son disrespected and felt entitled to. Nobody's entitled to anybody else's rewards for hard/good work. Punishment fits the crime and not the a-hole. Plus, he knew why OP was calling and clearly chose to ignore them. Or he needs to be asked what if there was an emergency with the two minors left unattended and a phone call was important. Okay, so I was totally going to call you an a-hole until I read a part about him earning the tickets, then going out instead of watching his siblings. Not the a-hole. He reneged on the deal and didn't come home until 1 a.m. Even worse, he took part of the pizza money instead of just using the $50 gift card already given to him. Not the a-hole. I would say a slight a-hole if you straight up charged him. But you were very generous to let him pay you by way of babysitting, and he completely disrespected your agreement. Charging him as punishment was totally reasonable. The son is 18 and living rent-free at home. He was in no way entitled to those tickets. Selling them to a coworker or son would in no way be an a-hole move, not even a slight a-hole. Although I personally think the compromise with tickets for babysitting was genius.